Alright, this is the last one before I get out of my tent and go to Panera to charge my shit. But anyway, something I think about a lot is a question that I ask a lot, is what does it say about us that our physicians can't speak to us like we're adults? What does it say about us that they don't feel like they can communicate with us like we understand what they're saying? And what does it say about us that they can't actually use the language that they use with one another to us? What does it say about us that, like, okay, so the title of my last video is Rejecting Reality is Defined as Psychosis. Okay, so, like, if you're schizophrenic, what you have is a perception disorder. But what that means is that you live in a fantasy world and you don't know the difference between your fantasies and objective reality. So just imagine if body dysmorphia were continued to be clinically and what was the word I used? By our physicians, if diagnostically, there we go. What if body dysmorphia, things like thinking you're a furry, right? What if kink were still diagnostically treated with physician language? And so if you live this fantasy reality, you would be treated like a psychotic. And so what that means is that the majority, something approaching 85% of the people in the world would be diagnosed with psychosis. They would be diagnosed with living in a reality that doesn't actually exist. How do you treat that? So, like, part of why I think about this so much is because I've had girlfriends that told me, well, you're just too direct. You would have never made it as a psychotherapist or whatever. You would have made it as a clinical psychologist because you're just too direct. You'll just tell people what's wrong and expect them to fix it. And it's like, well, isn't that what a doctor is expected to do? Like, you walk into a doctor. I'm watching like a comedian talking about how he had an allergic episode and his doctor is telling him, well, you know not to put peanuts in your mouth, so don't put anything that might have peanuts in your mouth, you fucking idiot. He's talking to this man like he's an adult, not like he's a child. Why do we need our physicians to give us a dum-dum for visiting them?